Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake Up, Wake Up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Ho. Hey. Wake up, wake up. Ho. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Hey everybody, it's Friday, October 20th. Good morning. This is Wake Up in Provincetown. I'm Bob.
I'm Harrison.
How are you?
I'm really good. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Nothing.
You're doing something. You took the night off of work.
I did take the night off because although I have no plans, I felt like I would be sad being at work.
Oh.
And that's a personal thing. A lot of people are happy to be at work, well, because I'm friends with everyone I work with, and that wouldn't be the worst thing ever, but I would rather just not, you know?
See, but when you do work on your birthday and you tell all of the guests.
That's true. I can just say it was I'll just tell people, oh, I'm a little hungover. Yesterday was my birthday.
So you're going to do it on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll make all that money on Sunday.
I
Come in
see.
and tip me on Sunday. It's our second to last jazz brunch at the Red Inn this Sunday.
Yeah, everybody, we're down to our last 10 days of work.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's super wild. I only have 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird.
Because the person who covered for me tomorrow, I picked up 2 of their shifts next week.
Well, I had to take off this upcoming Monday because there's a very special town meeting that I would like to attend. Do you know what's going to happen at this very special town meeting?
I do.
Why don't you tell everybody?
Oh, should we get right into it? Okay. So this Monday at 6 o'clock, the 23rd, there is a special town meeting. I feel like the major impetus for this town meeting is a $2 million land purchase on Nelson Avenue. So there's 3 lots? 2 or 3, I can't remember. But they're all together. It's a portion of land that the town is interested in buying because they do feel like if the town doesn't buy it, it will probably become a few market rate condos where, as of now, the way it is zoned, they would be able to put, oh no, where'd it go? 18 units. But once the sewer goes, they might be able to make up to 60 units.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously, if you live, work, and or spend time in Provincetown, you know housing is a huge issue, and we simply just need more of it. So that's really exciting. There's a few housing articles. Obviously, there was a few very contentious articles on this past town meeting in the spring that specifically address short-term rentals. There are, after the study was done, there are 2 short-term rental articles on this meeting's docket. One of them basically limits corporate ownership. Basically, they don't want a big corporation coming in, buying up a bunch of units, and then renting them out. There are, I think, S-corps, LLCs, and certain other corporations are still allowed, but I loved the way the Independent put it. They said, but every human owner has to be identified to the town. So pet owners, those big corporations owned by Spike will never own places in Provincetown.
Wow. Well, at least they're getting specific in the details.
Yeah, and also the other housing, our short-term rental is any individual is limited to 2 short-term rental licenses in Provincetown. New ones. Yeah. So basically, all the old ones are grandfathered in. Yeah.
This should appease everybody, and these are sponsored by the town leadership.
Oh yeah,
correct?
I think these are all. I don't know if there's any articles that weren't put forward by the town. I think basically the whole docket is town-sponsored articles. Other really exciting ones, there are 3 articles to move plans forward on town-owned land. 3 different properties at 3 Jerome Smith, 26 Shankpainter, which I'm fairly certain is the old police station, and also 288A Bradford. If you've been over by the police station, the new police station, I feel like it could open next week with what it looks like. It looks ready. It looks like a building that is finished, but obviously who knows what the inside looks like, and I'm sure they have a ton of stuff to do. Mark, do you know when that is scheduled? No? Maybe soonish. We'll see. That's really exciting. Yeah.
So if you're in town on Monday and you are a registered voter of Provincetown, please attend the special town meeting.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. We can get to that later. How was your week, Bob?
My week was so delightful.
Good.
So last weekend, if you missed it, you missed a really wonderful time. It was the annual Oyster Festival out in Wellfleet. It's like our mini version of a state fair. I like to go on Sunday of Oyster Festival. It's the finals of the shucking contest. It was really exciting. The technology that they've introduced, like we're standing there looking at these giant screens and somebody was like, is this Oyster Festival sponsored by Google? Like the screens, it's swamped up compared to what it used to be a tiny little thing. It's a massive festival now. The 3 shucking finalists, one was from Eastham, one was from Portland, and one was from Canada. And we're sharing this high top table with a couple of strangers, a woman named Denise who said she was from Wellfleet and grew up in Wellfleet. She's like, I really hope that Canadian guy wins. And I was like, Denise,
how dare
you kind of have to vote for the local guy, don't you?
Yeah.
And I was like, I want the guy from Eastham to win. And she was like, slapped $5 on the table. And I was like, okay. And I was like, Peter, you have to vote on the Portland guy. And he's like, I don't really care about Portland. And then the Eastham guy won.
Work.
So Denise, if you're watching, thank you for your $5.
Yeah, so nearly 20,000 people attended the Wellfleet Oyster Fest and nearly 100,000 Wellfleet oysters were shucked. Like Bob said, Ben Morgan, who's 23 years old, he's an Eastham native, beat 23 competitors from across the US and Canada. He shucked 20 oysters in 3 minutes and 9 seconds. That was his adjusted time. Did you get a rundown of the rules? What are the adjustments?
If it's sloppy, then it's a time violation.
Okay.
So he was by far the fastest, but not necessarily the cleanest, but it averaged out to a victory.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, congratulations.
So fast oysters, but maybe not ones you wanted to eat.
I think they only had to throw out 4 of his.
Oh, okay.
Like
So
if there's a little bit of shell, or if it's not completely severed, like if they go like this and it doesn't fall out, they look at you like,
how dare.
yeah.
I do the same thing when I'm eating oysters at a restaurant, so that's fair.
You do?
Yeah, I go just glare across the restaurant at the shucker.
No, it was great. But Ben also had to open. This is the thing: is there were 3 or 4 rounds on Sunday, and between the penultimate round and the final round, they had this giant 1-pound oyster, and they're like, Ben, come out and open this. And it took him a really long time to open it, and I was like, this is bad for his final round. It felt like sabotage, but he won anyway.
Yeah, so part of the Oyster Fest, the thing they do is they auction off, I think they had a 16-pound oyster and also...
No, a 26-pound lobster.
26-pound lobster?
I think so. It was 80 years old.
That's too big.
Yeah.
I just read that lobsters don't die naturally.
They can live forever.
They can live forever. Nothing can live forever. So there's some enormous lobster down there that's 800 years old.
They obviously can be killed. They're not immortal, but they don't die. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, they regenerate too.
Yeah, they basically can live forever if left.
Is this? I don't know.
I mean, me and Mark said it.
They don't die naturally?
No.
There's a Greenland shark that's over 600 years old.
That's too old.
Still swimming around.
So the 26-pound lobster and the 16.5-ounce oyster are both auctioned off. The oyster was auctioned off for $350. The person who won the lobster, you can release it back into the wild or eat it. They released it back into the wild, which I think is probably good because I don't think that's going to be very delicious anyway.
No, it would be tough and chewy. And it's 80 years old.
But they did eat the oyster.
Oh, yeah, in front of everyone.
How? I feel like you need a fork and knife to eat it. Is it 16.5 ounces with the shell?
I think the shell.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a 1-pound lobster. But if you think a typical lobster is half an ounce or whatever.
I would say 2 or 3 ounces.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
This was the shell and everything was a pound. Oh, and I'm getting a note that the lobster was only 17 pounds.
That's what I said the first time.
Sorry.
Thanks, Peter.
Shut up. No.
The shark is only 500 years old.
Okay. The shark is only 500 years old. The lobster is only 17 pounds. The oyster was a pound, and the person did not need a fork or even his hand.
That's
he just
crazy.
went.
Woof.
I know. And
if you want hard facts, watch a different show. But since Oyster Fest, I didn't realize this, but I was talking with the president of the WOA, which is the organization that runs Oyster Fest, but it's basically a charitable and philanthropic organization. Since their inception, the organization has raised $740,000 to date, and that supports high school scholarship programs, community grants, and pandemic relief.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't realize it's entirely not for profit. They just make a bunch of money and then redistribute it to causes on the Outer Cape. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's also for a good cause.
Yeah, I'm bummed I didn't get to go this year. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
What else did you get up to this week?
So, as you may know, our dear friend Kenny from West Hollywood is visiting. Kenny's Peter's BFF, and their birthdays are 10 days apart. And so Peter's was October 9th, Kenny's was last night. So we've been doing a series of, a week-long celebration.
Libra. I always say there's so many Libras in Provincetown, and
So
people
many.
come to Provincetown. I used to call it blackout season, just because like every single night you're out drinking for someone's birthday.
It's true.
Yeah.
And so Wednesday night we were out at the Porch Bar, and Kenny's birthday was going to start at the stroke of midnight. And so Brad and Kevin were tending bar. I can't get anything right today. Brad and Kevin were tending bar, and I was like, hey guys, right exactly at midnight, will you make it so that On Top of the World by the Carpenters plays? It's Kenny's favorite song.
Cute.
And so literally at the stroke of midnight, they start playing that song, and Kenny just started crying.
Aww.
I know, he was like so moved
That's
by it. He
sweet.
goes, how did they know? I didn't even ask them to play it. And I was like, well, I asked them to play it, silly.
I love that.
No, but Kenny used to live here. He hasn't been here in 10 years. And just to see his response to the family and the community here, which people don't have everywhere, it's been very touching.
I love that.
So happy birthday, Kenny.
Not that something happened to me this week, but something kind of funny happened to me this week. So obviously you all know that I was in the Fantastics at the Provincetown Theater this past summer. And this past Saturday I was at work and my friend Wyatt walked in and he was like, oh my God, I have something for you. He's like, I don't know if you saw this, but the Fantastic got reviewed in a New York City newspaper, and he handed me a bunch of
How
copies.
exciting.
So exciting, right? So exciting. My first New York review. And generally the review was fairly good. A lot of our reviews for that production focused a lot around the history of the Fantastics, because that production was kind of like movement forward in a 60-year-long history of this play. So basically a lot of it was the history, and then it kind of got into our performances. But I had to kind of laugh a little, because I think the writer has a bone to pick with the theater industry about how they're constantly putting up very model-esque perfect bodies on stage, and he felt that me and my co-star Peter Toto were the perfect
Antidote.
the antidote to perfect bodies being on stage. Basically, he wrote 2 sentences specifically about me, and both of them were like, Harrison Fish, who's not thin, was very good. It was really kind of weird and off-putting, and I can tell the guy didn't mean it as an insult. He definitely meant it as like, it was refreshing to see these like unsix-packed people on stage, but just like being the person who, I'm not like mad about it, like, I know I don't have a six-pack, but I just thought it was very odd.
Did he use the word Zoftig?
No?
Oh my God.
Big boned.
Oh my God. Well, they were like, Harrison's portrayal was very charming. He kind of reminded me, I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who played Ted in Schitt's Creek, who's like the nerdy doctor,
the
nerdy
boyfriend.
veterinarian. But it was like, he reminded me of Ted from Schitt's Creek, although less gym-toned. And I was like, why did you have to say that? Like, damn.
We need to find whoever wrote this review and have them on this
I know,
show.
right? It was in the
Gay Time
Gay
News.
City News in New
Gay
York.
City News.
But overall, it was a good review, so I can't complain.
Congratulations.
Although fat.
He brought you like 10 copies of that newspaper.
Yeah.
Why do you need so many? Are you sending them home?
Well, I was gonna show them to. I imagine if I didn't see it, a lot of my other castmates didn't see it either, so I was gonna show them. But I don't think they need to see it.
Congratulations on your rave review.
Although fat. Did you get up to anything else this week? I'm a little bummed. I didn't do much. I worked a lot and then kind of laid low.
No, I had to work too. I worked and then threw Kenny a birthday party. That was my week. I'm just so excited for Halloween.
Me too. Someone asked me if I had a costume, and I was like, no, but it's so far away. And then I was like, wait, that's next weekend.
It's very soon.
Looks like I'll be a cow again. I have these white overalls that I have these like felt cow spots put on, so every year I'm just like, I guess I'll be a cow again.
Well, that was the review.
You set them
kill
up.
you.
We knock them down.
Let's check out weather with Anne.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, so this is Anne Hutchinson with our weather report. She's also going to fill you in on how you can get a copy of her brand new book.
Time for your weather out in Provincetown, Massachusetts. I am Anne Hutchinson, and as we all know, there's a lot of turmoil in the world, and it is impossible to decipher the weather. Most of the turmoil is coming from a new memoir being released next week by Britney Spears called The Woman in Me. So I thought it was a great time for me to release my new memoir, The Woman Outside, parentheses, Me. Yes, in my memoir, I will detail the painstaking methods I take to find the weather outside for you each week, and might even get into some of the challenges that led me to talk into an iPhone in the middle of the street in the first place. Please know The Woman Outside, parentheses, Me, is exclusively sold at Tim Used Books, because though I am releasing my memoir, no one wanted to publish it, so I had to use the existing book infrastructure to get the message out. Here's what I've done. I've taken post-it notes with excerpts from my memoir and pasted them in hundreds of pages inside of the store that you can find. Kind of like a scavenger hunt, which is kind of like the weather. It's a multi-tiered piece of literature, but not like an adventure-choosing book. No, kind of like a what the fuck is she saying book. There were too many metaphors or something, the publishers said. But what you must know is that in order to get one full version of The Woman Outside, parentheses, Me, you must buy each used book with an excerpt in it. I'm turning one sale into hundreds, and therefore I can show those publishers that, you know, I am the top-selling author in Provincetown, and then I won't have to deal with drops of rain anymore. I can just deal with teardrops I've instilled from my masterful piece of literature. And so that being said, I've got to go. I'm scheduled at 10 a.m. to be a finger licker inside of Tim's Used Books so people can turn the pages. See you soon.
Heads Used Books to search for a copy of Anne's book.
Why'd you say it like that?
No, in the video she says, you watch it. It's wild and fun, as Anne always is. But be sure to check out her walking tours. I think they're every evening, so check that out. We have more local news, or not. This one isn't local. The European Union banned microplastics under 5 millimeters this past week, this past 18th, which outlawed the sale and purchase of glitter.
Oh no, in all of Europe?
Yeah, you can't buy glitter in Europe anymore. Obviously, biodegradable glitters are still allowed, and environmentally friendly glitters are still allowed. I feel like glitter is one of those things where everyone just like la 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 pretends isn't a microplastic that ends directly into the ocean. I saw someone for Carnival who literally crusted themselves in glitter, and then they were like, I'm just gonna jump in the ocean to wash it off. Which like isn't better or worse, I guess, than showering it off into your drain. But
that is worse.
That gets filtered.
Filtered to what though?
Sewage treatment plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Don't put glitter directly in the ocean. I think Provincetown should outlaw glitter as well.
Third
Does that
rail.
include glitter on ornaments and every piece of crap that comes from China?
I'm unsure.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe you can't buy it here and use it and apply it. But like if I buy an ornament that's already glittered.
Or maybe the trickle-down effect will be that person who put the glitter on the ornament can't buy it.
Trickle it down.
Stop. Scandal. Speaking of scandal.
What?
And town meetings.
This is big news, you guys.
So this past week, it came to light that the Truro Part-Time Resident Taxpayers Association might be in some hot water.
Behold your villain.
I know, maybe she was right. Maybe they are the villain. Just kidding. So a voter registration drive was organized by the Truro Part-Time Resident Taxpayers Association, and it was encouraging part-time residents to register to vote in Truro. And this seemingly resulted in a surge in voter registrations over the past few months.
Almost 90 people.
Yeah. In an email that was labeled confidential from the vice president of the organization that was dated on August 6th, it said, imagine what we can accomplish together if we get 30 to 50% of their group to register one or two members permanently or even temporarily. for the upcoming critical fall town meeting on Saturday of October 21st, which is tomorrow. So according to David Sullivan, who is a former legal counsel to the Mass Secretary of the Commonwealth and an expert on voting rights, he said the voting rights of true residents are being diluted by people who are registering illegally. And
Just find me the votes. Just find me 88 more votes.
I don't want to say in their defense, but kind of understand, like, I've never been able to understand what qualifies someone as a resident. Like, what is it you have to do or be in order to say this is where I reside?
David Sullivan made a good point in that Cape Cod Times article where it's like, you don't just decide that you're a resident of Truro. There are laws and stipulations. And I know I have friends who are technically Florida residents, even though they live here in the summer. And it's like a certain number of days you have to be at your primary domicile.
Right. And they
which makes you a resident.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
You can't just decide I'm going to be a Truro resident for the purposes of this one vote and then go back to being a resident of wherever I'm actually a resident.
So I can keep my parking pass in Boston.
Right.
And the Independent did some work, and they started interviewing some of these people who had recently registered in Truro, and all these things that are public record came to be, which is like some of the people who registered to vote in Truro in the past few months have our resident tax exemptions in other places.
Right.
So you can have a resident tax exemption in Boston and then register to vote for a few months in Truro so that you can keep poor people out. Oh.
And the person who was organizing this registration drive was like, this is totally legal what we're doing. We ran this by a lawyer. We're allowed to encourage people to register to vote. I'm like, but that's not really what you were doing.
And the lawyer was Sidney Powell.
Oh my God. I don't think there has been a comment from the Provincetown part-time resident.
We should have
testers.
somebody from the PPRTA on our show.
Oh, now?
No.
Yes, now.
Oh my God, you're gonna get us in trouble.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm opening the door to the people that have been wanting to come on the show, but you keep saying no to.
I keep saying no to. People, so the thing is like, you can't be punished for this unless you knowingly did it. Mm-hmm. So basically, if you were just like, I fucked up, like, you won't get in trouble, but if you knowingly did this and committed voter fraud, you can face up to 5 years in prison. So these people, if I don't know if they're going to pursue this in that type of fashion, but these people could face up to 5 years in prison. So as of the deadline, which was this past Thursday, 67 voter registrations had been challenged. So basically they went back through all the voter rolls and the new voter registrations that have happened in the last few months and pulled ones that seem suspicious, because they can also be like, oh, you're getting a resident tax exemption somewhere else, now you're registered here. No. Mm-hmm. And as of last night, Truro did postpone their town meeting, which was supposed to happen tomorrow. And they're basically, it can't happen tomorrow, it can't even happen in the next few weeks, we're gonna have to figure this out.
I wonder if they're gonna go through ours and postpone our town meeting on Monday.
I mean,
I would check if I was somebody who had the power to check.
Yeah. I've had a lot of conversation about, I guess not even a lot of conversation, but people who are part-time resident taxpayers within Provincetown, I've had these small interactions with. And I remember one person, and this guy like was so put off by the way I responded, but I was working for Julian getting signatures for something out front, and I was like, hi, are you a registered voter of Provincetown? He's like, no, I'm just a taxpayer, blah, 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 blah. You know, like taxation without representation. And I was like, oh, so you think that because you can afford 2 homes that you should have double the amount of participation in democracy because you're rich. And I don't know if you know, but that's called oligarchy, where if you have more money, your votes are worth more. So you want to do away with democracy and instead install oligarchy. And he was like, and I'm like, yeah. So like, just think about like when you're saying things like this, like the main tenet of democracy is one person and one vote, and whether no matter how much money you have or how much property you are able to afford, you still get one vote, and you have the choice where to reside. You have the choice to spend your time in a place. Like you said, Florida, you have to spend a certain amount of time in Florida, and that is because Florida doesn't want you making decisions in a place that you aren't spending the majority of your time, the majority of your money, the majority of your influence at. So if you are in Provincetown for an amount of time that makes you a resident, then you can now participate. But if you're someone who comes here for a few months, no, you can't participate. You're not here spending your money in February, you're not here spending your money in March, you're not a part of this community 365 days a year. Like, it's simple and straightforward. Claps.
A smattering of applause.
Oil in the skillet.
Yeah, let me see if there were any other details that I missed.
But also, I always encourage people. I'm like, come, live here.
Yeah,
Make
live
yourself
here,
a
be
resident.
here.
We want more fun, nice residents of Provincetown.
Yeah, we want more people here in February and March and April. Be here, be a part of it.
Yeah, so that all these apartments and homes aren't sitting empty like for 4 or 6 months out of the year. Come be here. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful place in the off season. You might want to check Boston Spirit for my latest article on why you should come to Provincetown in November and December.
Oh, cute. What'd you write it about?
I wrote about the holidays in November and
Nice.
December and why this is one of the best times of the year to come.
It really is.
You know, it's beautiful. There's still a lot of activities going on. We've got the Food and Wine Festival that first weekend in November.
I can't wait.
I know. It's
Yeah.
a wonderful time to be here. Move here.
Yeah.
Actually move here and be a resident.
I think I've been spending I think this is my 4th or 5th winter, or 6th, I don't know. But the November, December specifically has gotten so much busier since
Yeah.
I started staying here. And I have to take my hat off to the Food and Wine Festival in Matt King, because that has become, it's only in its 3rd year, and people are already looking forward to it. People are so excited. Even in its 1st year, I was like, wow, it really added a lot of energy and infused a lot of all of that into the community. Everywhere you went was busy, people having fun with their wine
People
necklaces.
staying open an extra week. There's tea dance for a whole extra weekend thanks to the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt King.
Yeah. But come in November and December, and it's tons of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Silva Ataxia fundraiser is today at the Red Inn. Do you know what time it starts?
It's from 6 to 9. You guys, the Red Inn is not open at our normal time of 2 o'clock for happy hour. We're closed for a private event, but you can attend the private event. It is a fundraiser for the Silva Ataxia Foundation. This fundraiser is in its 5th year, and they've raised after tonight, it will be more than $500,000 in the last 5 years to do research on Joseph Machado disease, which is a type of ataxia sort of specific to people of Portuguese descent. And so the fundraiser is tonight. There's a silent auction. There's a lot of really fun stuff to raffle on. And Tommy and I will be there working together.
Hey. They're working specifically with a doctor who specializes in this, and if you spent any time in Provincetown, then you have definitely come into interact with people that have been specifically affected by this. So many families here in Provincetown are affected by this, so let's raise some money.
And every year that doctor gets up and gives his speech toward the end of the night, and he's like, we're getting so close to being able to prevent people from dying from this.
It's really exciting.
I know, that's the mission. So come on out. You can get a ticket online or at the door and have a good time with us.
Oh, yeah. One more quick news story. Suzanne Summers passed away this past week.
I saw that.
She's of Three's Company fame and Step by Step. She died at 76, just one day before her 77th birthday. She'd been battling cancer for 20 years. She's notable within the queer community because as a cast member of Three's Company. Some of the discussions around queer people and queer lives, it was one of the first shows to do that. And she also she was fired from that show after the 5th season, and she said that was because she was fighting for equal pay for women and male actors, and she was denied that, and she basically was fired / quit, and she kind of was one of the voices in the beginning of equal pay within the Hollywood industry. So, and also known for being the spokesperson of Thigh Master.
Yep.
Yeah, work.
Rest in peace, Suzanne.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago I stopped by the Rice Polack Gallery and also the On Center Gallery as part of our gallery stroll this fall season. Check out this video with them. Good morning, everyone. We are at the Rice Polack Gallery on Commercial Street. We are here with Medea. She is the owner here. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
First of all, I want to talk about how long you've been in this space.
So luckily, believe it or not, for 31 years,
Wow.
which is unbelievable.
In the same space.
In the exact same space
That
for
is
31
wild.
years, yeah.
I imagine it's going well.
It's going well. The first few years were touch and go, but luckily it's going quite well.
That tends to happen, though.
Yeah, true that.
I just want to talk about the massive space you have here, and it's so incredible you're able to house so many artists here.
Yeah, which we're so lucky about. I represent about 30 different artists. The gallery has 2 floors. And it allows me to get all of my addictions out at once. We show photography, sculpture, paintings, there's assemblages, just, you know, my range of art is huge, as is my interest.
Awesome. Let's check some of it out.
Okay.
So how do you choose the artists that you house here?
Well, it's a variety of ways, quite honestly. You know, after doing it for so many years, I'm lucky enough to say that artists come to me.
Wow.
I always look at slides, I always look at websites, I go to art fairs all the time. One of the #1 ways I'd say is collectors. People that buy things from me might introduce me to other artists that they love. Other artists might introduce me to artists that they love. And you know, there's no shortage of good work out there. As big as my space is, the hardest part is how many people I have to say no to. Yeah.
And you house mostly artists that aren't based here in Provincetown.
Correct. Yeah, when I opened 31 years ago, there were so many amazing galleries in this town that mainly focused on local art. And just trying to set myself apart a little bit, it was like, how do you do that? And the answer really was to reach out to artists from all over the country. And that just has worked.
Nice.
It's really nice, you know, so we're introducing people to collectors that they've never seen before. You know, a lot of the artists that I show are kind of mid-career, emerging, and some are really quite well known at this point, yeah.
So you've been in Provincetown for 31 years. How have you felt like the art scene has changed here in Provincetown?
Well, I guess that I would say I think that it's gotten better. I think that the galleries that exist are sure. That's great. Yeah, there are so many galleries. I'd say they're really, really sophisticated. The artwork that everybody shows is unique. There's also a beautiful spirit of collaboration between the galleries that didn't exist. That was a little bit of a result of the pandemic. We joined together. We started an organization called the Provincetown Art Gallery Association. And there's kind of a sharing that never existed before. That's really great. I'd also say, and again, I don't know if this speaks to the art scene in P-Town or just the art scene everywhere, people really value art in a way that they didn't years ago. It used to just be considered something that only very, very wealthy people could buy. It was, you know, kind of like almost untouchable. And now I feel like everybody's, you know, not everyone's spending tons and thousands of dollars, but people really understand how important art is.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So you house so many different mediums. Is there any that's your personal favorite?
Nope.
There
really isn't. There is absolutely not one artist here who I don't love. You know, I collect some myself and not others, but it's impossible for me to sell something if I don't feel strongly about it. And yeah, so I really do feel strongly about everybody.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for meeting me today.
Absolutely.
Your gallery is absolutely gorgeous, and to another successful 31 years.
Thank you.
Good morning. We are here on the On-Center Gallery, right here on Commercial Street in Provincetown. We are here with Scott and Jill. They are the owners and directors of On-Center Gallery. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Well, thanks for being here.
Of course. It's always a pleasure to stop in a gallery as beautiful as this. Great work.
Thanks.
So how long have you been here on Center in the gallery?
We opened in 2017, so it's our 7th season, 6-year, 7th season.
So what was the impetus of you working together, creating this gallery?
Well, we're old friends. We've been neighbors. We used to live beside each other, and I had a previous art background in Dallas, where I was from, and Jill has an art background as well as an artist and an administrator. So eventually we decided on Center Gallery. Here we are. Yeah, we wanted to make more of a footprint in Provincetown, having more of an input into the town long term.
Do you both source the art? Do you source separately? Do you source together?
We pretty much source together. We both have to agree on the artists that we bring in. One might not love one artist, but feel that it's great for the gallery. But it's definitely a collaborative effort.
It is, yeah.
Well, it seems like both of your tastes are great, as all the art in here is gorgeous. Let's take a peek.
Okay.
So you've been here for 5 years. Do you feel like the pandemic or anything has shifted the art scene here in Provincetown over the years?
Well, the pandemic has definitely changed business in Provincetown, but shifting the art scene, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think P-Town is definitely becoming a destination where people want to come and buy art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if anything, I feel like the pandemic actually strengthened our community in general, but the Provincetown Art Gallery Association, Polack, was of course born from a need for cooperation between the galleries and a way to promote ourselves and hold each other up. And so from there, I think the art business in Provincetown really benefited from those years where we needed to get together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it forced us all to kind of be like, how do we make this all work for everyone and work together?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how do y'all pick your art? Do you work mostly hang paint, sculpture? What's your vibe? What do you love?
We like to have a mixture of different mediums and styles here. We feel that, or we hope, what we strive to do is have something that appeals to just about anyone that's walking into the gallery. So it is a real mixture of sculpture and paintings, oil to acrylic, collage, photography. So
it's very intentionally a collection of artists from all across the nation of various styles and genres. We have a handful of fantastic Cape Cod artists that we're just so happy to work with as well. They really range from coast to coast, and we consider ourselves a contemporary gallery, not strict contemporary. Sometimes there's a bit more of a, say, transitional style of art that we display in the gallery as well.
I love a gallery with a lot of color, and you definitely have a lot of color. It always draws me in.
color works well for us.
It does.
I feel like people view Provincetown as a colorful, lively, vibrant place, and I feel like when people are buying art for their places in Provincetown or want to take a piece of Provincetown back to their home, color is definitely something that vibes with everyone.
Yeah, it's very true, and it also brings people in the street.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. This was incredible, and congratulations on such a beautiful gallery.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
I had never been to Provincetown until I did.
Only when he's getting paid to do it.
Hey, everybody.
Stop by those galleries. Really incredible art up right now. Check them out.
Please welcome to the show, Mr. Tom Hewitt. Tom, how are you?
I'm so well. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thanks for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure.
So it's your second stint in Provincetown?
It's my second stint in Provincetown at the Provincetown Playhouse. I was here in 2019 doing Sweeney Todd. I was here for the whole summer. We were just talking to I'd never been to Provincetown before. It was my first summer here. And I get to do Sweeney Todd, and we only perform on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I have the weekends off.
It's a fun theater schedule. You never get that.
You never get that. It was, without question, one of the top 3 summers of my life. It was really, not only doing the show, but being able to spend the entire summer here. It was great.
I mean, that show within the Provincetown Theater has, like I said, I did the Fantastic this past summer, and Sweeney Todd is mentioned more than any other production they've ever done there.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Megan Amoris was in,
of course,
played Peter's mom in the Fantastics, and John Thomas was our music director, as was yours.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of crossover.
She's just the best.
The best, yeah. So what brought you back to Provincetown this time around?
Well, it's my own damn fault. I told David Drake that hey, if you ever need something, I have in my back pocket, well, sort of my back pocket, a one-man play called Another Medea, written by Aaron Mark, and it's a play about an actor who's incarcerated, whose life parallels the Medea myth. But the context and the framing device is really fun, because, for me anyway, because I'm an actor who's playing an actor who's doing a one-man show. So I'm an actor who has been obsessed with this actor who's now in prison, and he's trying to get him to talk to him to have an interview or something. So he does, and then he has this interview with this actor, Marcus Sharp, and then creates, for disturbing reasons, he does a one-man show about this guy. So I have some permission and a little bit of leeway because I'm a little removed.
Right, there's a few layers.
Yeah, from my iffy characterizations and stuff like that. But it's great also because instead of like a regular one-man show where you turn your baseball cap backwards and like do another guy, it's like a conversation. And he, when he does people, it's sort of like how your perceptions of how they talk or how they are. I don't have to literally recreate. It's just sort of part of the conversation. And because he's an actor, he gets to lean into those imitations a little bit. So it's a looser context than your regular one-person show. And the script is so good. It's so well crafted and so disturbing, and when I'm in it and when it's happening, it's really fun and exhilarating to do.
Is it kind of spooky? Like, is it coinciding with Halloween for any reason, or?
It is. I don't want to sort of give it away, but there is there is
spooky.
It is. It's spooky, but also terrifying because it's the Medea myth. Horrible things happen, and we talk about those horrible things.
Well, it sounds a little bit like Silence of the Lambs, like the interview, the one-on-one interview aspect of it. I mean, it's just you on stage,
a little
though.
bit, yes. It's like being in a room with Hannibal Lecter, a little bit like that. Yeah.
Have you done many one-man shows before? We were talking earlier, and I said that I have trouble enjoying them simply because I'm always so blown away that this one person is up there entertaining me for so long.
Yes, 90 minutes of me in a light with a table and a chair, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely, it's terrifying.
I can't even begin to fathom how you begin memorizing that.
Yeah,
I know. It's really, really daunting. I did it. I've done it before.
Okay.
We had an off-Broadway run. So it's in there somewhere. Like there's still some of the synapses. It just takes longer for me to connect them. No, it's really, really difficult, and 90 minutes is a lot of material, and it starts to leak out of my ears. It's not like I can like just run through my lines. I have to run through the play, and it's really, really.
You're like, what's my cue?
Yeah.
The light comes on at the beginning.
Exactly. But it's just me, so no one's screwing with my timing.
That's true. That's true.
That's yeah.
So you have 6 shows?
6 tonight, opening night.
You can do it. You can do it.
Right. And tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon.
Sunday
and then next weekend, same thing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
You said that you had done this before. You kind of like coming back to things that you've done, it seems.
So much. It is. I've had this opportunity so many times. I'm in and out of Chicago, the musical, since 2008. And every time I leave and they bring me back, I've lived more. I've had more experience. I have a different, observation, objectivity about the show. I did Hadestown. I did total of 14 months over 2 years. So I do 3 months and then another 3 months. I just finished an 8-month run. So each time then too, I get to come back and look at it and get watch the show and see. It's a really one of the. It's, as you know, not always a satisfying profession, but that's really so fulfilling to get better and to feel more confident and be more grounded in the role, and that happens because I get to come back.
Well, I imagine Billy Flynn is just such a fun role to play.
It's the best.
You're giving him the razzle dazzle.
We love Billy.
You gotta love Billy.
Yeah.
It's just terrific. It's a really fun character and a really beautiful show, and the production that's running now is just flawless. Really, it's still running. Bless its heart.
Never end.
Yeah. And I just have to say one more thing. When you were nominated for a Tony for Rocky Horror, I think you should have beat Nathan Lane.
Wow.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Robbed.
No, I was robbed. No, I wasn't. No, it was fine. It's an honor just to be nominated.
They have to say that. Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Do you have any other big plans while you're here in Provincetown, or just?
Well, Halloween is next weekend.
Yeah. So you're going to stay through actual
What are you going to dress up as?
Well, My partner's going as Lauren Boebert, so...
Oh.
Are you the guy that she was jerking off?
You're just gonna get jerked off in a theater seat.
Oh my God, that's a great idea!
Yeah.
With like a theater seat, just attached to me.
Get like a cucumber and put it down your pants and be like,
oh my God, thank you, man. That's what we're doing.
perfect.
That's such a Provincetown theater?
It's on Commercial Street.
Oh my God, I love that. Thank you so much for coming in.
Really
Break a
nice
leg
to
this
meet you.
evening. You're going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Let's head over to the Babes and Boys to find out everything we've got going on this weekend here in Provincetown.
Good morning, everyone. Happy fall, happy Trans Week.
We are here for the Oktoberfest vibes, filling up our menus, such as Canteen, Blue Monkey, and Governor Bradford. They all got Oktoberfest stuff going on. Also,
just a heads up on a lot of restaurants that'll be closing soon, so keep track of what their closing dates are this weekend or maybe next. We know Mayflower is closing tomorrow, so sad, so get in there before everything's 86. Noodle Night is also returned to GovBrad's on Mondays. Definitely check them out. But let's dive into the week.
So on Friday, today, we have at 5:30 a book event at the East End Market with the author of Rearranged, Kathleen Watt. Don't forget also it's Free Friday at Pam from 5 to 8. Go and get your art on. And Killers of the Flower Moon and Taylor Swift The Eras Tour are on tap at the Water's Edge Cinema.
Awesome. Another Medea is coming to the Provincetown Theater. This is starring Tom Hewitt, who was last seen in P-Town as the lead in Sweeney Todd in 2019. Fun fact, that's how we first met but never met. We were in the same
Ships
space.
in the night.
Such a great production. So he's going to be an amazing actor to come see. This is a strictly limited run this weekend only and next at 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays and 2 p.m. on Sundays. Also, Madame Graves' Intentions show kicks off at 7 p.m. tonight at Pilgrim House with several shows over the next weekend and the following weekend. And Pink, starring Cherie Marcel, one of this year's Showgirls of the Year, returns for one last performance tonight only at the Post Office Cabaret at 7:30.
Yeah, catch that. And also catch the Fantasia Fair Follies. It's tonight at 8 p.m. for one night only at the Crown and Anchor. Happy Trans Week, y'all. Happy Follies. Also, tonight is Bitchcraft, a witchy production starring Lux Liaison, Kaya Cristal, and Lady Madness, and more. It's opening at the Pilgrim House tonight at 8 p.m. with a run of 8 shows this weekend and next, and a final show on Halloween. Also, speaking of fun shows to see, Transylvania is a night of blood, lust, and pole dancing with performances by trans and queer dancers. It'll be hosted at the Wild Room at the Gifford at 9:30 tonight.
That sounds fun. And Saturday, Adam Berry returns to Provincetown for real ghost stories and conversations about the afterlife at Fisherman Hall for one night only at 7:30 p.m. And Cody Plays now has moved to Saturdays at the Gifford House at 6 p.m. for the off-season. Also on Saturday, Kai will be accompanied by the Bart Weissman Trio at the club at 9 p.m.
And then on Sunday, Gifford House has launched a potluck. So come on by on Sunday nights. You're encouraged to BYO anything and join in for a night of community and food. I think this is going to be really cool in the off-season as a gathering on Sundays. Monday night brings us to Trivia Night at the brewery with Harrison Fish.
And on Tuesday, there are a lot of great workshops planned through PAM, including a power painting course that launches every Tuesday this week. Sign up in advance, and an in-depth intro to monoprinting that launches on Wednesday, or next Wednesday, I should say, November 1st. Sign up early. Many of these workshops are filling quickly. And also, every Tuesday and Fridays through the off-season, PAM will host a life drawing class at 9:30 a.m. BYO Art Supplies, and register in advance.
Then on Thursday, it's the start of Spooky Bear weekend. Get your costumes ready. Also, the Mayflower Trolley will be offering a new haunted trolley tour every day throughout Spooky Bear weekend, starting on Thursday at 6 p.m. And also, Tammy Brown is kicking off her show, the Halloween Spooktacular, at the Red Room on Thursday at 8:30. Spooky Bear weekend is here.
So excited.
Happy fall, everyone.
Thank you, Sam and Carmen. Check out everything we've got going in Provincetown this weekend. And please welcome Adam Berry to the stage.
Hi.
How are you? What's going on?
You know, it's Halloween, it's spooky season. I am repping the ghosts.
It's very cute.
I feel like everyone should be doing that.
Yeah. This must be busy season for you.
Oh, incredibly busy.
Yeah.
Like, this weekend I have my P-Town event that's happening where people from all around the country come in and they do a fabulous weekend in Provincetown. So we have a Dune tour today, dinner at the Muse, Monument tour tomorrow, We're investigating the Orleans Inn on Sunday.
What's at the Orleans Inn?
Ghosts. Well, I don't. You know what's funny is I was on the TV show Ghost Hunters, and right before I joined, they investigated the Orleans Inn.
Oh, really?
And so I've never investigated it before, but they have lots of stories. Someone committed the act of suicide in the building. That's a rumor. We don't know if it's true, but they say they get activity around that, and it goes so far to like people calling the hotel, being like, "There's a naked lady in the 3rd floor window." And they're like, no one's on the 3rd floor. Like weird stuff like that.
Have you been to the Red Inn?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
You know that ghost, right?
Tell me.
Emily.
Her name is Emily.
Why is it always like a weird, spooky girl name? Like Emily, Veronica, Becky.
And like the one at Local? It's
Esther. So, you know what a crazy story? So I used to work at Esther's in like 2003. It was my first job. Things would happen all the time. Like cups would move, we would show up to work and like tickets would print with messages that aren't supposed to be printed. And it wasn't until the Local, like Yingling and Local, they put up a picture of Esther. And I was like, that's a good idea. Like, let her be the focus. And now everything seems to be okay.
That's what happened. So the Red Inn had a medium come in. So during the renovation of 2011, something about wrecking the building like stirred up the ghost.
Interesting.
She started like whispering in people's ears and stuff. Oh my God, it was so scary. And then they had somebody come in and they were like, you need to put a rocking chair in this room. You need to make sure these 2 doors are always closed.
Yeah.
And you need to say like Emily's room. And then it stopped.
See, that sometimes ghosts just want to be recognized. They want to be part of the scene, part of the party, and then they're going to leave you alone. But there's lots of haunts in P-Town, you know?
Yeah. There's so often I'm at work, like, because we're the last people in the building.
Right.
I'll be at work and something will happen and I'll be like, Emily. And then it stops.
You never know.
I don't know how you do your job. I would be like peeing myself the whole time.
Well, listen, there are scary moments, but I am in the business of humanizing the spirits that we're talking to, right? So I see each and every ghost or interaction that I have or that we have is someone who once was just like us. So treating them exactly the same. Yes, sometimes it can be very scary. Like if they need attention or if they want something, their actions can be very aggressive. Like you can be scratched, pushed, you know, touched, and things that are kind of like in your safe space, like this is my bubble. But I think they overshoot the basket. Like they want something so bad, they're like, oopsie, sorry, didn't mean to do that. You know, I wish investigating the paranormal was like Hollywood movies. Like we investigated the Conjuring house, and I wanted to see someone get thrown against the wall. Like, come on, like, do it. Come on, ghost. If you're gonna do it, let's have a party.
Right.
But it didn't happen, you know. And the activity was very, very different. And I think that's the way of it. But if you ever wanted to come and investigate when I do one of my events, you're more than welcome. I can take you through the paces. It's in a group environment. It's very educational, and that's kind of what we're doing on Sunday.
Were you interested in this, which made you go into this field, or was it something you kind of, I don't know, like you met a ghost once, and now you're like?
It was very a Christmas Carol. It stood at the end of the bed and was like, you have to be a ghost hunter. No. So fun story. I just released a book. It's called Goodbye, Hello, Processing Grief and Understanding Death Through the Paranormal. You can get anywhere books are sold, but P-Town Books and East End Books has them.
Oh, cool.
Support local. But I go through in detail, you know, my whole experience growing up as a kid, having experiences like in the first house that I grew up in. It was actually a ghost dog, which I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a dog running around my room. I could hear it, couldn't see it, but we didn't own a pet and we didn't have pets. So ghosts aren't just people; they can be animals. And so it's from there. You know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s when we had like Goosebump books, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Ghostbusters. So I was always obsessed with it. But there was one experience that happened to me in Gettysburg when I was on tour with TheaterWorks USA. God bless them. And I was in Gettysburg and I went on a ghost tour and some crazy things went down because I decided to wander off by myself like any normal person would do because I wanted to see a ghost. And it's all in that book in detail. But from that point, it was like it became a hobby, which eventually became a career. So it's bizarre.
What are you doing for Halloween?
So we're going to be at the Hawthorne Hotel, at the Hawthorne Ball. We're going to be at the Witches' Ball on Friday. The theme is Norse gods. And on Saturday, it is at the Hawthorne. It's Toys That Terrify. Yeah. Have we decided what we're going to wear for costumes? No, ma'am. We're in the same boat, and we're going to a large, lavish party. But I just wanted to say, tomorrow night, if anyone is into like really cool ghost stories, so tomorrow night I am doing a show at Fisherman Hall, which is the old high school. It's where Peregrine Theater Ensemble does our productions. It's at 7:30 p.m. It's real ghost stories and conversations on the afterlife. So it's real stories that have happened to me in my life, told in a narrative format, very spooky, campfire, Boy Scout kind of vibe. And I do it all over the country, and I'm bringing it to my home.
Thanks for coming home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love being here, of course.
You're also doing like a sunset dune tour, Spirits of the Dunes.
Well, that's all encompassing for the whole weekend.
Okay.
So
okay.
I have a lot of like locals just coming to the talk because they're like, "Girl, I live here. I don't need to go on a dune tour again, even though they're fabulous."
Every year.
Shout out Arts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's separated. So if you just want to investigate, you can just get investigation tickets, and if you just want to come to the talk tomorrow night at 7:30, you can go to adamberryevents.com and get your tickets.
Really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Let's talk a little about Peregrine.
Oh my gosh!
Happy
yes.
to have you back this past season.
Tell me about it.
It was the first one back since pre-Panty.
Yeah, since Cabaret, we were the first back. It was make or break for us. We had to come back. We've built this theater since 2013, and so it was like, now's the time. We have to do it, and we were able to get some grant money from the pandemic to use that to do our Sondheim tribute show and a new dance piece based on Catcher in the Rye. And we have plans to be back next year, so stay tuned. I can't say what, even though we talked off camera. Sorry about it.
I won't tell anybody.
So we don't know yet, but we're going to come back to our our big thing because we love to bring in we bring in like 18 people who have never been to Provincetown. We house them. They do a show for us, and they have the summer of their lives. It's a recreation of our first summers here, where everything's magical and wonderful, and you kind of see it through their eyes, and then they come back and bring their friends and visit year round, which we are open. Provincetown's open. So yeah, I'm excited.
Where do you put the actors?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Where
Girl,
do you put 18 people?
all over the place. All over the place. So Cabaret. I mean, that's a problem. So Cabaret, our housing budget was $74,000, which is absurd from June 15th through September 15th. So the need for housing goes far beyond anyone's imagination. But we were lucky this year. We found a place in Truro. It is extremely expensive, and we only it's just expensive. Everything's so expensive. So if there's any donors out there that would like to donate $1 billion to Peregrine Theater Ensemble so that we can buy a house in town for our children, please call me.
Good cause.
Exactly.
We can register them as voters.
I was just gonna
Yes! Oh my God! We just moved to Truro, and we will register, and we are legal. We live there, so we'll be there voting for housing.
Actual residents registering to vote. How weird!
Oh my God!
We're gonna get canceled.
Wait, did any ghosts register?
Who knows? Who knows?
Probably.
Oh my God!
The ghost of the former leader of the Truro part-time taxpayers.
Yeah, if you look up the registration, I bet you're gonna see Emily, and you're gonna see Esther, Rebecca, Jacob Marley. Oh, Jacob, he's back.
You're gonna get us in trouble.
Me?
Listen, you've got to talk about it. You can't hide it in the shadows. Like, I didn't even know about it, and I live there. So I mean, I wondered why they postponed the meeting, and it's my busy season. And thank you for informing me on Wake Up in Provincetown.
This is what we do, Adam.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy, spooky season to come in and hang with us.
Thank you. I never get up this early for anyone.
Thank you.
Me either.
He's not awake yet.
I know.
No, I'll be
He's
awake in a few
asleep.
hours. Yeah. That's a show. We did it. Yeah.
We want to thank all of our sponsors: the Provincetown Business Guild, the Provincetown Brewing Company, the Shipwreck at the Brass Key, the Boat Slip,
Crown and Anchor.
and the Crown and Anchor.
Yeah. And thank you all for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Should we dress up next?
Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown.